Okay, so we talked about grief. Let's talk a little bit about joy. And obviously, we don't get enough joyful moments in our lives because of the economic circumstances we live under. So I personally seek out ways of making my life more joyful without succumbing to money issues, because obviously money is an issue to the vast majority of the working class people. We don't have enough money to spare. We barely have enough. So a lot of the things that can be bought with money, such as travel, experiences, and all kinds of goods, may not be accessible. And as a person who spent quite some time traveling and acquiring goods and possessions in the past when I had a good paying job, I got used to it and it became an addiction, and I shared that before. And nowadays I'm trying to kind of recover, and I'm trying to find other joyful experiences. And I already talked about a lot of the routines that I find very helpful, meditation and dancing and music and connecting with nature and all of this that is available to the vast majority of us. It's going to be very low cost or free. And obviously this is something that everybody uses. But oftentimes there is a huge association with laziness and not being very productive when we do such things. But self-care is revolutionary because it keeps you going. If you're not going to take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to connect meaningfully with other people. So if you've ever noticed that people are very grumpy in some circles, in some organizing circles, if you notice them being irritated, etc., suggest some activities that may bring out that revolutionary optimism. Do a picnic in a park, do some kind of a gathering that is only going to be dedicated to getting to know each other a little bit better, share some interest, play some board games, watch some movies together, discuss them, read something more entertaining from time to time, maybe some light fiction that is going to spark an interesting conversation. And all of this I've already shared before on multiple occasions. And these are all by now pieces of advice that everybody tells you next time I'm gonna tell you to go clean your room. But in reality, we underestimate how simple our nervous systems are. Yes, of course, they're very complex on one hand, but on the other hand, they're very simple. Dialectics, duh. And we need to remember that we can work together with our nervous systems to learn what it is that serves them best. And then we're going to be able to become a better member of our community. We're going to be more helpful. We're going to be more rational and reasonable, because not only did we give ourselves an emotional outlet, but we also found joy in our life. And it is necessary to find joy in a life that is so full of misery nowadays. So if you're able to find out what it is your nervous system craves, please do it. And I'm going to share some of the things that I personally do. Take it or leave it, do with this information as you please. But I personally find a lot of joy and fulfillment in all kinds of steaming activities. So shaking my hands, shaking my body, overall just moving my body a lot is very helpful to me. And oftentimes in winter, I find it much harder to move my body. So in order to try and motivate myself a little bit, I start listening to music, because usually I start moving together with the music, the rhythms and everything. And this is a very, very simple trick to get yourself to move a little bit. You don't have to do exercise routines and all of that jazz. You can just do a little bit of movement just to make yourself feel better. And then maybe you're going to be inspired to do something bigger, like go on a walk, etc. And another thing that I personally love doing is swinging on a little swing. So I do have yoga hammock installed in my room, which I really, really appreciate. It is an amazing experience. It is a great exercise tool as well, but I have not been using it consistently for the past few years because I was exhausted. I was hurting badly from all kinds of trauma. And I started just using it as a swing. And it is such a fun experience if you listen to music in your headphones and you just swing and you do a little air dance and maybe you sing along, and it's so fun. fun, and it's very cheap. Obviously, you will have to pay upfront for the hammock or a swing, depending on what it is you personally prefer. But swinging motions are very, very useful to our nervous systems. The vast majority of the people are going to feel calmer when they experience a swinging motion. Some of those yoga hammocks, like the one that I have, they will even allow you to lie in them. So you can lie down, have somebody give you a little push, and then you're going to swing while lying down, which is a very, very relaxing, calming type of a thing. It is an amazing experience. I highly recommend it. If you've seen aerial yoga, they do it in those type of hammocks. It is a very useful and fun activity too. It actually may be a little dangerous, so be cautious, especially if you have problems with your joints or if you're not very fit and very strong, like I am not, for example. You may get yourself hurt, so be careful with these. But swinging and dancing and shaking and jumping, these are all great activities to stimulate your nervous system in the right way, and they're going to help you regain that connection with yourself, which we are all forced to lose in the capitalist world. And the capitalist myths, they surround us daily. They tell us, oh, don't do such and such and such things because it's not going to make you any money. It's going to make you appear as a child. You're going to lose out on opportunities. People are not going to respect you because you act like an immature little freak. But these are all myths. We've got to realize that we do develop as children and we become pretty different as adults. Our limbic systems mature, our rational cognitive parts of the brain mature, but we still remain basically very similar to children. Yes, some of the sensation may not be as acute as they used to be, but it is still very, very important to keep that connection with your child self. It is important to understand that not only can you be serious, rational, and pragmatic, but you can also be lighthearted and fun-loving, and just like a little child from time to time. There are even meditations where you kind of pretend for a time that you went back, reversed back in age and became a child. And I think that these type of activities may be useful as well. Another little budget-friendly thing that I love doing, and I have been doing for a while, is that I get little perfume samples, and sometimes I get replicas of some expensive perfumes, but sometimes I get the actual expensive perfumes, but just a little bit. And I love experiencing new fragrances, new smells. I think olfactory experiences are really underrated, and I love just smelling them. I don't even care if I smell good to others, but what I do care is that I can experience the sensation of a smell. And many perfumes can take you onto a journey, a whole journey. They may tap into some memories of yours. They may remind you of something amazing you did. They may put you in a very specific mood depending on what the scent profile is. Obviously, the perfume industry is crazy. It is absolute capitalist nightmare. It is so exploitative. It is so terrible. It is just so nasty about how it appropriates people's cultures, doesn't pay any kind of tribute to the people. It absolutely doesn't care about insulting people's cultures. It doesn't care about appropriating people's cultures. It doesn't care about giving inappropriate names to its perfumes just for the sake of scandal. So it drives more engagement from people on the internet. So generally the perfume industry is terrible, but getting little samples of perfumes and maybe buying some perfume oils from some more ethical brands, of which there are plenty, or maybe getting something local, or getting something that is connected to some people's culture. This can be also a great activity that may be relatively cheap, but it can still soothe you or bring you some joy and enthusiasm and really make a positive difference in your life. We need to remember that we have to fight against capitalism and its ideology and its influence in every single aspect of our lives. And we should not think that fighting with capitalism is always going to be painful and terrible and miserable. Sometimes it actually may be fun and inspirational and inspiring for others. So we should keep at this type of fights as well. We should give ourselves some joy to keep up with the revolutionary optimism. So let me know what it is you do for fun, that doesn't cost you any money, and that helps you feel connected to yourself and your community and nature and the world at large. So I hope you have a great day today. Consider supporting me on Patreon. Do take care of yourself and your community first. Subscribe to me on all the other social medias, even though I don't do much there, and I'll talk to you sometime later.